I'm sitting alone in the dark living room of the house my grandmother left me. I've just pressed play on the very last unmarked VHS tape. The TV hums low. Blue light climbs my hands. Inside the VCR, the reels wake up. Where are you watching from tonight? A bedroom with the door half closed. A late bus. A kitchen where the clock sounds too loud. Do you still have old family tapes tucked away somewhere? Things you swear you'll watch when you're ready? If you do, you know that brief moment before you press play, when you're not sure if you're about to feel loved or undone. My grandmother died suddenly 2 months ago. A Wednesday so ordinary it felt like the world didn't want to warn me. Her neighbor found her in her chair by the window, hands folded, afternoon sun on her face. No hospital, no rehearsed goodbye, just a hole punched clean through the day. She left me her house. It's small, a porch light yellowed by years, walls thin enough to hear a kettle think about boiling.
When I was a kid, it smelled like cinnamon and paperbacks. After the funeral, it smelled like dust and a silence that had been waiting. I spent a week drifting through rooms, touching things that hadn't learned they were mine yet. Her chipped mug, the crocheted blanket on the couch, the bowl by the door with a few coins still shining. I kept expecting to hear her behind me, saying my name like she had all the time in the world. Instead, there was only the refrigerator clicking and the house settling into itself. On the 8th day, I opened the attic. Warm air, cardboard, old summers. I wasn't searching for anything. I just wanted to be close to her in a way that couldn't disappoint me. That's when I found the box, plain brown, taped shut, pushed behind a suitcase. Across the top, in her careful handwriting, "For you when I'm gone." Inside were about 20 VHS tapes, each labeled with a year, from 1992 through 2007, each with the same small note. I carried them downstairs and set them on the coffee table like glass. Her old VCR waited beneath the TV.
She used to say, old things deserve to finish their stories. That night, I made tea in her mug and slid in the first tape. The footage was innocent. Backyards and birthdays, Christmas mornings, summer barbecues, my first birthday, cake on my cheeks, my mother young and laughing, my grandmother's voice behind the camera, warm, steady, familiar. It felt like stepping into air that still remembered me. So I watched another tape the next night, then another. School plays, campfires, a dog I'd forgotten. I started to believe this was her last kindness, a quiet way to say, we were here, and it mattered. Halfway through the 1995 tape, I noticed the child. My cousin's birthday, balloons squeaking, everyone laughing. In the background, near the hallway, a small child stood perfectly still. A bright yellow raincoat, hood up, hands down, their face pointed straight into the lens. At first, I assumed it was a neighbor kid. I rewound. No one looked at them. No one stepped around them. They were there like a lamp nobody questions.
The tape moved on. Cake, presents, noise. Every time the camera widened, the yellow raincoat was still there, not moving, just watching the watcher. In 1996, at a park picnic, the same child appeared near the edge of the frame. Same coat, same stillness, same stare. I called my mother. "Do you remember a kid in yellow around us?" She sounded honestly confused. "Sweetheart, no. Maybe Grandma babysat?" She didn't. I let it go. The child didn't. Christmas 1997, the yellow coat in a kitchen doorway. A wedding in 1998, the hood at the back of the church. Then a swing set, a school auditorium, a beach day. Every tape, every year, that small figure in yellow, somewhere behind us, staring into the lens. I began to dread the moment I'd spot them. I also waited for it, the way you press a sore tooth just to feel the ache prove itself. By 2002, I stopped pretending it was a blur. I sent a still image to my cousin. "Who's this?" He texted back laughing. "What kid? Is that a coat on a chair?" I zoomed until the image broke into pixels. The face stayed hidden beneath the hood, just the pale suggestion of a chin, two dark eyes that never looked away. The strangest part wasn't that no one remembered, it was that the child never aged. 15 years passed on those tapes. Everyone changed. Hairlines receded, babies grew, voices thinned. The child stayed the same height, the same shape, the same bright coat that never faded. Time slid over them like rain over glass. I searched my own memories for any trace of yellow. There was nothing. At night, I dreamed in VHS grain. Silent rooms, that hood somewhere behind me. I watched closer, searching for anyone else to notice. No one did. No one except my grandmother. On the 2003 lake tape, the camera swung wide. The child stood ankle deep in the shallows, staring into the lens. My grandmother sat on a towel nearby. She turned her head toward them, not startled, not afraid, deliberate, calm, like she had been expecting them. Then she looked back toward the camera, toward me, and smiled. After that, I saw it everywhere. Small acknowledgments in wide shots, a tilt of her chin, a softness when the child was near. She never spoke to them on camera. She didn't need to. She was keeping a secret with the background. By the second to last tape, early 2007, my stomach stayed tight. A family dinner, noise, warmth. The camcorder wandered. It drifted toward the doorway. The yellow raincoat stood closer than ever, just inside the room. Still, waiting. Light caught the slick plastic of the hood. The lens seemed to pass over them without landing. The final tape waited beside me, only a date in her handwriting, the week she died. I didn't sleep much. I kept walking into the living room to stare at it, like it might change if I watched long enough. Grief does that. It makes you superstitious. 3 mornings later, I made tea again. I held the tape for a long time. Then I slid it in. My thumb hovered over play. I whispered "okay" to an empty room. The tape began with the living room empty. The camcorder sat on a tripod, aimed at the couch. Afternoon light thinned into evening. The porch light clicked on by itself. The house felt like it was holding its breath. Then my grandmother walked in. Soft blue cardigan, hair brushed neat. She sat in the center of the frame and looked directly into the lens. "Hi, love," she said. Her voice hit me like a hand to the chest. "If you're watching this, I'm not with you," she said gently, "which means you were brave enough to climb up there." A quiet chuckle. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I thought I was protecting you." Her eyes flicked once toward the right side of the room. "I've been making these tapes since before you could talk. Not to trap you in the past, but to show you that you were never alone in the story." Her hands trembled. "There are people who watch us," she said. "Not cruelly, not loudly. They're just there." She swallowed. "I saw them when I was a girl. I thought it was imagination. Then I saw them in the corners of pictures. So I kept filming." She looked down, then back up, and then I learned something important. She hesitated. Sometimes the camera is the invitation. You've probably noticed the little one. She didn't name them. She didn't explain them. I don't know what they are. I only know they appear when we remember, when we gather, when we record. "They don't hurt anyone," she said softly. "They just wait, like they want to be seen." Her eyes shone. "I'm tired now. I'm going soon." She smiled, sad and proud at the same time. "But you're holding a torch you didn't ask for. I think you're the one they've been watching all along." She lifted her hand in a small wave. "Thank you for watching." Behind her, the child in the yellow raincoat stepped fully into frame for the first time, close enough that the yellow filled the dim room like sunrise. They didn't touch her. They didn't move again. They only stood there, staring straight into the lens. My grandmother didn't turn. She closed her eyes slowly. Her lips parted, as if she were about to say one more word.
The tape cut to static. Gray snow hissed across the screen. I rewound it, played it again.
Every time, the wave, the yellow coat stepping in, the white roar. Nothing more, nothing less. Some people would digitize those tapes, share them, beg for answers. I didn't. Maybe it was fear, maybe love, maybe the way she looked into the lens, like she was handing me something fragile and heavy. I put every tape back into the box and carried it upstairs. Then I found a fresh label and a pen. I tried to copy her handwriting. "For the next person who needs to be the last viewer," I wrote. I didn't lock it away. I left it where it was, in a house that now belongs to my silence too, waiting for whoever comes next. A niece, a nephew, a stranger with my last name, someone lonely enough to look for ghosts in cardboard. Some roles in a family aren't chosen, they're passed down. The keeper of photos, the holder of stories, the one who watches without flinching. When I walk through the house now, I sometimes feel that quiet steadiness at the edge of a room. It isn't a threat. It isn't comfort either, just a presence that remembers me back. So tell me, softly, before you go, if you found a box of tapes labeled in a hand you loved, and one last tape weighted with your name on it, would you press play? Or would you let someone else carry it one day, passing it on like a lantern, lit, warm, and still unexplained?
Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story.